Warning, this video contains copious amounts of Yuta Okkotsu propaganda. Are we going to see Yuta copying any techniques here? We have Yuji, possibly Choso, Hakari, Urumi, Wiwi, and Sukuna himself, and maybe he's also even copied Takaba and Kenny's or even Geto's CT. And do we even still have concrete explanation on how Yuta's copying CT works? Long answer, yes. Short answer, yes? Question mark? Just in case y'all have forgot, let me go and remind you all just how deep Yuta's bag actually is, because we can see the scale from this of what's likely going to happen and what he's going to be throwing at Sukuna and how they may affect Sukuna and how it's going to work and how it's going to play out. And while we go through that, you should throw yourself at that subscribe button. But Yuta has a lot of abilities here. The main abilities that we've been seen and shown from Yuta that have been confirmed and you've seen so far is 1. Sky manipulation, 2. Clear speech, 3. Shikigami usage, and then 4, on top of all of these confirmed things, he's also able to discharge large blasts of cursed energy. However, this one is only possible when Rika is fully manifested. So let's start from the top here. Sky manipulation may actually be the most useful and effective technique Yuta might actually have against Sukuna here. We've seen sky manipulation pull away and deflect physical and cursed energy blasts, so with that in mind, it is entirely possible that Yuta may be able to simply disrupt where and how the slashes from Sukuna land. However, I don't believe sky manipulation will help against Sukuna's space cleave. Personally, I think the only thing that may even stop that is either him dodging it outright or domain amplification, potentially. Now we have cursed speech, and this one is kind of a tricky thing, and it's something I think may actually work on Sukuna, but only once. And the reason behind that is based on what Inumaki was able to do against Hanami. And now I know, or you all get mad at me in the comments, I'm not comparing Sukuna to Hanami, I'm just comparing the situations. So bear with me. Inumaki in comparison to Hanami in strength difference was worlds apart. Hanami dogged Inumaki easily, but Inumaki was still able to stop Hanami, even if it was only briefly. We know cursed speech works better for people with more cursed energy to put into the speech, and that's something that Yuta just so happens to have boundless amounts of. However, Sukuna isn't just a silly little teehee boy. He'd simply coat his ears in cursed energy after the first one landed, and thus I don't think it would work again. But cursed speech can definitely be used to catch him off guard, in my opinion. Next up, we have Druv's Shikigamis. Now, if you're wondering what the fuck these things actually do here, basically, they are the most discount dollar store cleave and dismantle possible. Yuta basically sends out Shikigamis, and once they're within range of an opponent, they slash the opponent. And we saw Yuta use this against Udo. But I 100% think if Sukuna sees these things flying towards him, he's just going to treat them the same way he did with Mei's crows, and he's just going to blast them out of there. So far, we have 2 out of 3 techniques that I think are confirmed for Yuta that may be effective, and one of them is probably only going to work once, more than likely against Sukuna. Now finally, in the confirmed abilities for Yuta, we have cursed energy discharge. Now again, this only happens when Rika is fully manifested. I am going to be entirely honest here, I do not see this doing a damn thing to Sukuna. We watched this man walk off Gojo's unlimited purple, Angel's Jacob ladder, and even Kashimo's energy blasts, so I highly doubt that whatever kind of power Yuta is putting behind this will be able to do anything to Sukuna, because Sukuna is an absolute tank. Now comes for the more theory crafting part of things. Now that we've gone over Yuta and everything that he has and that has been confirmed for him to have, I think it's time to look at the stuff that he might have, which is arguably way more exciting, and just also what and how he may copy things in the future. First up, we have a very obvious one in the aforementioned Angel's Jacob ladder. It's a maximum technique from Angel used just after Sukuna had taken over Megami. Now this is the most popular theory for what Yuta has in store and in his bag right now. It also makes the most sense considering Yuta was seen talking to Angel about whether she could change hosts, implying Yuta was trying to figure out something about her abilities. I'm assuming he was also present and witnessed the technique when Gojo was unsealed, and this technique has the most power to be used against Sukuna. However, it is very possible that Yuta can only copy the base form of a technique rather than the maximum of said technique. Again, maximums are the pinnacle of strength for a certain technique in comparison to domain expansions, and after all, there's got to be some sort of drawback to this dude, otherwise he would be the most powerful thing in this entire universe, and as much as I would like that, it's just simply not viable for my boy Yuta. Next up, we have gravity manipulation, which Kenjaku tried to use on Yuta. However, I'm 100% confident he does not have this ability, and the reason being is Kenjaku never actually fully completed the activation of this technique, and Yuta actually actually killed him before the completion of said technique even got off. So I don't think that's in the running, but who knows, maybe just someone saying the name is enough for Yuta to copy it, who knows. Now, this one flies under the radar quite a bit when I see people discussing Yuta and his powers. However, Yuta fought against the entirety of the Kyoto school here a while back, and we know this because Todo wanted to get his blood back at the beginning of the series. He wanted to get back in business. Now, it's entirely possible Yuta was and still is in the possession of every curse technique that the Kyoto school had on their side at that time, and while many of those techniques are going to be absolutely useless against Sukuna, Todo's Boogie Woogie is a problem, especially for Yuta, who already fights as a tag team duo, that being him and Rika. Just imagine Yuta and Rika hitting the Boogie Woogie wombo combo on Sukuna. Good lord, that would hit phenomenally good. I need that. Or even just Yuta hitting the Boogie Woogie combo with Yuji, because Yuji's still on the battlefield. This could be juicy. And finally, now we have the most recent example of Yuta seeing a possible technique, Sukuna's Cleave and Dismantle. Now, this is speculation on my part, but I believe Sukuna tried to slash Yuta here in this panel. We see Sukuna using possible handstands here tucked underneath his arm, and as well as Sukuna using the classic finger guns, and again, finally, how Gege draws this as if two slashes collided. Meaning, if Sukuna used a slash here, then that's just +1 technique for Yuta. But just how does Yuta copy these techniques? Well, Kenjaku seems to think it's unconditional, but Ryu believes Rika needs to consume a part of someone or their body to gain an ability. So, which is it? Well, the truth is, we don't know. We genuinely don't know. We have evidence that points to both of these things, because Yuta was able to copy Inamaki's curse technique, and we know damn well Rika did not eat any part of him, unless they didn't. I don't know, but we're pretty sure that did not happen. But also at the same time, Yuta didn't use Sky Manipulation until Rika had consumed a piece of Uro's body. So it is completely unclear what the conditions are for Yuta to copy a technique. Some speculate that it may be for Yuta to just simply draw blood. Others double down on the body part, and then others even sit in the camp that is completely unconditional. If it is unconditional, our boy is going to be extremely powerful by fighting Sukuna. But finally, we've arrived at the absolute crackpot part of the video, which I think is arguably the best way that Yuta can most likely win against Sukuna. You know damn well, this wouldn't be a weeb video without a crackpot theory, so let's get into it. Sprinkled over the top of all of those abilities and all those possibilities is the ability that possibly may see Yuta having the 6 Eyes Limitless technique. Now, you might just be sat there scratching your noggin and going, what the fuck? How? Weeb, what are you talking about? I'll tell you. See, Yuta and Gojo share heritage. They are both distant descendants of Sugiwara Michizane, meaning there is a chance Yuta can either inherit the 6 Eyes or, now that Gojo is dead, even copy them. And to add on to this, Yuta copies genetic traits, and we know this because the Care Speech Markings is a genetic trait. So with that being said, it is entirely possible that he can either copy or inherit the 6 Eyes Limitless. But that is a very, very big crackpot theory, so don't count on it personally. However, Yuta's bag of tricks is incredibly deep and will most likely only continue to get deeper as that fight goes on. He is arguably the most versatile sorcerer on the roster right now, to be honest with you. And to top it all off, he still has a domain expansion, which I'm going to be quite honest with you, there is a lot of stuff that I can theorize about. But when it comes to Yuta and his domain expansion, I simply have no idea. I genuinely don't. A domain expansion for a technique that copies things doesn't make sense in my mind. How does that work? How do you employ that into a domain expansion? Do you get to use all of your copy techniques on a rotate? Could it be something maybe like Kite from Hunter x Hunter, where he just gambles the techniques and just cycles through them randomly? I don't know, but I'll let you guys try and figure that one out in the comments down below. But as it stands right now, Sukuna seemingly has no domain to counter. He didn't use anything against Higuruma, and it seems Gojo took his ability to use domains away during their fight. As it seems right now, everyone who fights Sukuna so far is plucking options away from him one by one, similar way to Maharaga versus Gojo. Gojo took away Sukuna's domain and also killed Maharaga. Those are two things that was plucked from Sukuna's deck of cards here. It's also possible he can't use the 10 Shadows technique anymore. Kashimo forced Sukuna into his High-in-Error form, taking away that one-time transformation. That was possibly the trump card that Hikari was talking about at this panel. And then Higuruma took away the Kamo Toki here. It's also worth noticing that Sukuna's RCT is actually slowing down. His hand was actually smoking this entire chapter within 248 here, so it is very, very possible that Sukuna is starting to slow down. So now it leaves the question to be asked, what will Yuta take away? But I'll leave again to you guys in the comments down below to decide that. But I hope this video helps you understand a little bit more of how Yuta can beat Sukuna, how he can bring and what he can bring to the table. I genuinely believe that we are in for a fucking treat with this fight. One of Gojo's best students, who he trusts the most, stepping in to avenge his sensei is unreal, and I can't wait to see where it all goes. Again, this is just how he can do it. I'm not entirely confident it will happen, but I do believe Yuta will give Sukuna an incredibly good fight. But that is everything from me. As always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you guys all in the next one. Much love, big fucking kisses. Peace.